the people to the right of Hillary voted for her, right? These people voted for Obama, these people voted for Hillary, and Obama got more votes. So he got closer to Hillary, right? So if the middle were here, he got on Hillary's side of the beach. He got close enough to Hillary to pick up all these extra votes, right? And pick up more votes than Hillary. And really it was this character right here that decided the election, right? If we say we have, let's say we have if this is our cutoff, right? Then we got 6 voters voting for the Democrats, right? These people are Republicans and can't vote in the Democratic nomination. Obama was able to get himself close enough to Hillary on Hillary's side of the beach, right? On the more conservative section of the Democrat beach, right? And he was able to pick up this guy. This guy won the election, right? This person was the median vote. This was the middle voter that Obama needed to win the election, right? If he would have not gotten this guy, if he would have left his ice cream cart further up the beach, or down the beach, or further to the left, then he wouldn't have gotten this guy. This guy would have gone to Hillary, and it would have been a tie. They would have had to run off or try again or something. Anyway, he was able to get that middle voter, and that's what allowed him to win. So he got this guy, won the Democratic nomination, and Hillary went away. So then he had to run.
This is where what I was saying earlier, this is where really what I was talking about comes into effect.
Okay, what was that?
Him, like, on certain issues.
Right, right. And I think that's one of the reasons that we think of him as being further to the right now. Because as soon as he beat Hillary, then he's got to start to move his cart, right? Because John McCain was thought of as a Republican, but a fairly moderate, fairly kind of middle-of-the-road Republican. So here's Johnny, and if the election just went right after the Democratic election, if John McCain would have been here, Obama there, if they had the presidential election right after John McCain probably would have won, right? Because he's got himself positioned a little closer to the middle of the beach, a little closer to the middle voter. And so let's say this is the middle of the two of them, and this person would have voted for John McCain, then John McCain would have won. It's all dependent on those voters in the middle. If you can get that median voter, then you're going to win, right? Obama, however, was very successful at moving himself down the beach again, and moving himself closer to John McCain, putting himself on John McCain's side of the beach, right? So that this person ended up going with Obama.
I think he went a little bit further.
He might have gone a little further, right? Right? So how do you do that?
By changing his tactics, like moving his cart according to this, but changing some tactics on how to...
Yeah, and changing some of his, his ideas, his policies. This is what I'm going to do. Exactly. Before he got down here, he was down here, and he went and got Joe Biden to be his, vice president to run with him. And what did that do to Obama's ice cream cart?
Sorry, I think it's...
The wheels came off? No. What did Joe Biden do? Whenever he got Joe Biden...
he had a lot of problems to deal with. I don't know. I don't know if Joe Biden brought him to the middle.
I would definitely argue that Joe Biden brought him to the middle. And the reason, you've got a fairly young black guy in Obama, right? And you get a crotchety old white dude from Connecticut. Connecticut, right? Scranton, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess my thing is, he spoke so well and everything, I think he could have done it for himself.
Maybe he could have done it by himself without. I'm good enough. I don't need a vice president. But I think whenever he added Biden was closer to the middle, and I think adding
On the
Biden
news.
brought him closer to John McCain. When John McCain went and got Sarah Palin, right? You put Sarah Palin like near the gun, right? If I had a moose on here, but no. You put Sarah Palin out here near the gun. That moved John McCain to the right. That moved John McCain further down the beach and away from this middle voter that they were going after. The presidential election comes down to these middle voters. In George Bush's first run, I don't even, it all runs together now, but whenever one of them that he won that was so close,
Against Al Gore.
that was against Gore, and he won in Florida by 500 votes, 535 votes or something. I mean, it came down to a few hundred people in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And so
Gore won popular vote by a lot.
yeah, but it's those people, those middle voters, right? Those medium voters that they're fighting over. And I mean, I think it makes the ice cream example and the politics go hand in hand. And you can see how if you were selling ice cream on the beach, you would want to operate in the same manner as these characters running for president of the United
I
States.
still don't know a lot about Biden, but that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know much about too many of these characters, but I know that they position themselves, they move themselves.
Okay. So then why did John McCain pick Palin? Was he thinking like that, oh, he'll make history some way because that'll be like the first female vice president? And maybe that was his motive. Maybe he thought Obama had a higher standing than he did because he was black. Was that, or would be the first black president?
Yeah, I don't know.
Would that be his mindset? 'Cause
I don't know.
understand it with this, or maybe he just didn't understand economics.
Yeah, maybe he didn't understand selling ice cream. My guess is he understands this thoroughly, but maybe he didn't understand where Sarah Palin would fall on the beach. Because she's a woman, maybe he thought that she would be further to the left, just because she'd pick up more women voters. Maybe there are some conspiracy theorists out there that say that John McCain saw where the economy was going, and he realized that he didn't want to be president. I've heard this. He didn't want to be president, and a good way to not be president is to move your ice cream cart in the wrong direction. And by picking up Sarah Palin, he's like, well, this will get me out of this, right? That's probably far-fetched, but I've heard that theory thrown around. It was definitely not, I mean, if it's not a good choice to pick somebody to run with you that's way down the beach, right? It's going to move you in the wrong direction. I mean, he would have been probably better served to pick up somebody over here, unless there is this whole idea of mobilizing your base that you hear about, and so maybe he didn't want to move too far down the beach in fear that he would lose, these voters would just not show up, right? I mean, if we're talking about a mile-long beach, and you got to go walk a mile to get ice cream, well, yeah, it might be too far for you to actually walk to get the ice cream. And yeah, you could just go back to your car and go home and get ice cream. Yeah. So there's some discussion about whether maybe he didn't want to get too far away from his base. But I think it makes a pretty good comparison between the ice cream, selling ice cream on the beach, and the voters.